Oh, mountains. Are these wings or mountains? Wings. Oh, it's beautiful.
Wings of mountains.
Oh, that's shredded 20s, really, isn't it? Is that yours?
This is good, isn't it?
Which one?
Meta information.
Oh no, I'm sure that was attractive. I'm like,
Jake, I love the tone of surprise. I mean, it's quite justified. It is completely justified, but I do love it.
It's really good.
It was really nice being asked to draw from our imaginations.
Yes.
Have we had that before?
No, we haven't, and it was good. Oh, we had the shoe elves, didn't we? Yeah, the shoe elves.
the shoe elves,
Yeah.
yes.
What?
The shoe elves. There's my two shoe elves.
Both are fine.
Whichever you prefer is fine.
That's fine.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
have everything up there?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, great.
Some very quick general announcements. We have Artist Open Source for this morning. You'll be learning stuff and doing lots of stuff. Then this afternoon, it's a general open studio afternoon for first years and second years. I recommend you talk to Michael and or myself just about where you're at. Tomorrow, Charlotte's in for first year presentations of your scripts. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then talk to your colleagues and find out what I'm talking about. And later on in the afternoon, first years will be having another conversation about your course magazine that you're all setting up. Again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, talk to somebody else in your class who does.
Ruth, I'm kind of aware that I didn't see many of the first years last week, so if you're around this afternoon and you get yourselves on the list, then first year, you're not excluded from, you know, in a way I think first year's probably a priority this afternoon.
First years, okay,
Yeah,
first
they
years
got
have
less
priority.
time last week, I felt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Third years, you're with Sue this afternoon doing your flash portfolio. Tomorrow I'll see second years in the morning. I'd like to see all second years tomorrow to see, and I'm very happy to talk to you about your studio work and your APD work. Then Wednesday morning, third years with Sue and I. And Thursday, very important hand-in time for second years, professional focus. 12 noon, there's a hand-in. If you don't know what that's about, make sure you talk to Michael today.
Yeah.
And the rest of the day, it's first, second and third years, equal access to...
I'll be sharing my love equally across
Yes.
all 3 years.
Okay. I think that's it. Has anyone got any burning issues that they need to raise? Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It says results are available on Moodle, but I can't find them at the minute.
Results available on Moodle, but
Actually,
Do we have-
so this one, okay, so just pull this one off
Yeah.
and attach it to here. Great.
We've got a Mac. Have you got a Mac adapter there? Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
good,
yes.
yeah,
This is another thing, standard. We're talking
yeah.
a
We
bit
do
about
have
that.
one somewhere.
as you know, because you'll have read my emails, Artist Open Source are opening an exhibition at our gallery in North London. You're all invited. It's this Friday evening. It's going to be great fun. We have performances and all kinds of stuff going on. This is the
And
card
coloured
for it.
drinks.
Sorry?
We have
Coloured
drugs
drinks.
anyway,
And
if you
coloured
like.
drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll tell you about their drugs, the drugs
Yeah.
that they're dishing out in a minute. This is
It's
it,
true.
in fact. This is the drug they're dishing out.
Yeah.
Just like the nose, our fingers, all our senses gather lots of hints of the world that are around us and send them to the brain, and the brain actually does a continuous state of interpretation of these hints. So actually we could have totally different interpretation of reality. Then many conditions which are in the environment, in cultures, in the people that are around us, in the ways in which we need to speak and to relate to other people, actually create the conditions for which we share lots of things about what we call reality and the world around us. But it could turn out very complex, okay? And the definition of reality from other points of view is a thing which is used by the people's organization, institutions which are in power, let's say it like this, to enact their power. So, for example, we live in a world that is completely encoded. All the places which we cross in our daily lives have a specific code. This is a place to study, to research, to express. When you go in a city, there is a place to shop, a place to have fun, a place to dance. Everything is encoded, okay? And in general, who has the authority to give the codes has the power, okay? So who designs the cities, who allows a building to be built there and to say, okay, there is a shopping center in here. But even on, this is on macro levels, but also on micro levels. If we have any product, this product will have a label. A label will have lots of things written inside it. Okay, it will have ingredients. This is good for your health. This is bad for your health. It's never written on the label, is it? So there's lots of things written on the label, and actually this is an act of authority, because we have no control on what's written on a label. And also another very interesting thing is that on that label only one voice is expressed, only the voice of the manufacturer. I cannot decide what is written on the label of my favorite snack, okay? Because only the manufacturer decides what's written on that label. So it's encoding the content of this label. It might say natural aromas, and probably something. You know what natural aromas are?
That's a fantastic story.
Is it a word that sounds good in English? Natural. Does it have in the English? Because I'm translating from Italian. Okay. Natural aromas is what do you think they are? Essences. What? Smells of something natural that exists in nature. There is a whole industrial district in New Jersey, an enormous industrial district with incredible smells, actually, that produces 98% of everything that in the world is called natural aromas. And it's a very incredible place, okay, because it smells like nothing in this world. So, who had the authority to write on a little box of our favorite snack natural aromas is actually describing a very complex molecule which is coming from New Jersey, probably 98% of the chances are that this is the way it is, okay? So it's a very important act of authority, because maybe we think we are eating something with the smell of flowers, and instead we're eating a molecule this big that comes from an ugly factory, okay? So reality is a very complex thing, because when you eat it, lots of people check what's inside what they eat. For example, eating is a very strong example of all this, okay, because we eat it, it goes inside our bodies. And so what happens is that people read, oh, natural aromas, fine, I'll eat it. Instead they're eating New Jersey's molecules, okay? So defining reality, encoding things, and thus defining reality is a very powerful act, okay? Does anybody of you skateboard? A bit? What do you think, what do you think you're doing when you're going around skateboarding?
Having fun.
What do you do? What kind of skateboarding do you do? You do freestyle, half pipe?
Yeah, it's looking for places in the street that you're gonna use for what you do.
Perfect. Looking for places in the street. How about you?
Yeah, a little bit. A couple parks and that around.
Perfect. So what you're doing when you're skateboarding is actually recoding the city that is around you. For example, this guy is doing a jump on a handrail, okay? I used to skateboard a lot. I broke all that I could break on myself skateboarding. This guy is making a jump on a handrail. What is he doing? He's recoding a piece of architecture. So, when he's there, this is not a regular handrail anymore. It's a magical place for acrobatics, okay? And this is a very interesting thing. Because when you are skateboarding, you are in a continuous state of reinvention of the city that is around you, okay? And this is a very powerful act. Illegal things.
There's a little bit of graffiti.
Aren't you doing the same when you do graffiti? There is a wall and then it's a painting.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the use for a wall? If anyone can say what's the use for a wall? What's the wall for?
To keep something in or out.
Advertising.
Okay. Any other uses for a wall?
It defines boundaries, areas.
Or hosts beautiful paintings. When you spray them illegally on hopefully legally. There's luckily some administration start accepting graffiti and actually saying, okay, you can draw on this wall because it's something actually interesting that the landscape, the urban landscape in this case, but these things work a lot also in rural landscapes, can be used and transformed and recoded into a form of expression. Because when we deal with architecture, there is also a big discussion on authority, because architects are often the tool for power. They actually do a lot of they define a lot what is your experience of the city you live in and what goes on in the city, how do you perceive the city, because they define the house you live in, the things you'll see when you look out the window, the things you go out in the streets and what is there? Is there is something to walk, something to see, something to enter? They define all that you see in the city. So it's quite an act of authority defining, okay, each day of your life, when you open the window, you see this building. It's quite an act of authority, isn't it? And this is an interesting discussion with architecture that lately is creating also very different practices like generative architecture, collective, collaborative architectures, peer-to-peer architecture, so that people discuss on how the space around them should be built. Okay, and this is like graffiti. Okay. Take a wall, an act of, let's say, authority in this way, okay, means that it's something that's there imposed, defining your space, your time, your senses, okay, and add another layer of content to it, add another layer of information. And that's what we do, whoa, too early, with FakePress. FakePress is a little publishing house. It's a weird, as Oriana was saying, it's a little weird publishing house because we actually don't do any books. We do cross-media publication, and each of these publications is intended as a platform for expression, just like, let's say, just like skateboarding or graffiti. Each of our publication is a platform through which many voices can be expressed, so many points of views, many information, many contents, many anything actually. We can and we'll experiment this later on today, and be layered on top of the physical world. Okay. For example, we just come back from Transmediale, in which we presented our latest book.
Do you all know what transmediale is?
Oh yes.
No.
No?
Transmediale is a very big...
Maybe the oldest one in Europe.
No, actually, it's older, but it's a very
in
big
Europe, yes.
and massive festival.
For digital arts.
For digital arts,
And
design, also digital culture, because it has loads of conferences and meetings and workshops. And in Transmediale we presented our latest publication.
In Berlin.
In Berlin, I'm sorry. Which was a real-time emotional map of the world, which is, we call them books because actually we publish them as books, but they're actually multi-platform, and meaning that they can be experienced on paper, on mobile phones, on the web, on cross-medially all over, even while you're walking into place, and we'll see an example. This book actually has 35,000 authors. We were, what's the most, the highest number of authors that that you saw in a book lately?
4.
4. Did anybody see a book with 10 authors? 20.
For me, the max is 60.
60, okay.
Our book.
For example. But the books, okay, are a very interesting medium. Actually, we don't want to replace books with something else. We think that books are a wonderful medium for expression. But books have a limitation on other parts. If you analyze them from other points of view, books have a limitation. They can only express a limited number of points of view. Okay. Instead, if you transform the book, leaving the book, the paper book, classical book there as it is, because it's actually a wonderful medium. Okay, but you can invent new forms of books, which actually are platforms for lots of people. For example, in our book, there were 35,000 authors that were able to describe. If you want, we will start. So, do I have? Can I access a network here? Because they are the Writtle, but is there a password to
Will
it?
anybody know how to get Salvatore onto the...
Because otherwise I might switch to the computer.
Can someone find it?
Should I Thanks. Okay, so it's the thing the publication we built for Transmediale, and it will show up in a second. I hope. It will. And while it's showing up, what it is, it's loading.
I'm just going to get logged on to...
Okay. No, because I think there's this monitor is controlled by the switch there.
Through here?
I think so, because I just took the one that's... we can switch if you want. No problem. No, it actually takes some time because there's lots of contributions up there. So it's actually not even the connection's fault, I think, because it's loading lots of... it's drawing, actually, lots of contributions. So what happens is, with consciousness of streams, while it loads up, is that people from all over the world have many ways to say and contribute this to the system, how they were feeling in the place that they were at in that moment, okay? Which is a very powerful thing, because any place you are in the world, you can use your mobile phone, or if you have a computer, you can use a web interface and say how you feel about that specific place, okay? Which is quite amazing. During the festival, and this is what's being drawn right now, these 35,000 people contributed more than 230,000 or something, so it's in 1 week. Okay, in 1 week they contributed 230,000 emotional states associated to the place in which these people were in. And so they actually drew a map which was updated in real time of more than 300 urban locations in the world, 300 cities, okay? Which is very interesting, okay? Because if you look over the map, it comes up. It will. Wait, maybe I have another lighter interface. That's.
I don't understand quite what you're doing. Are you bringing it in through this computer, or are you bringing it in?
I'm using it here.
Yeah,
but maybe it should.
Our wireless is.
It's
really,
very
really,
patchy.
really patchy and slow.
Okay, should we switch to this other one? Go ahead. No problem at all.
This is also patchy and slow, but it might be better than the wireless.
Slow and reliable is fantastic. We love it. Don't worry, there's no problem at all.
Might be putting it to bits.
While we're attaching these things, was actually left was partially enforced so that we could actually have something that was usable for sure. So there were 120 words, around 120 words that people could use to describe their emotion. But then also part of the expression was left open to the people. So people, to express their emotional state, they could choose one or more of those 120 words and also suggest some more words. What happened is that when people chose, for example, 3 words to describe their emotional state, a small calculation was made just to see which were the contributions that were to be taken more delicately. For example, if I chose happy and sad together, it can be that I feel happy and sad together at the same time, because it happens. But probably it's a situation to which we have to dedicate special attention, because probably the person behind the interface was testing out the system. He possibly have chosen 2 random things. Okay, so a series of calculations was made to weight these contributions. We didn't discard anything, because actually I can be happy and sad at the same time. Happy about one thing, sad about another, or happy and sad because I feel happy and sad. Okay, it can be, but there was a little weighting. So as you can see, loads of places all over the world. There's some going. Let's not be centric to United States and I clicked once too many. And to Europe. Oh, drawing. This is a very zoomed out world. As you can see, there are contributions coming from all over the world. Okay? And so,
what do the connections represent?
Okay, the connections represent the same emotion. So, for example, if we go, let's do it this way. If we go and observe the world, one emotion at a time. So, 2 expressions of the same emotion in different parts of the world would mean that there is in a little time difference. So, for example, in 1 hour difference, in 2 hours difference, so that they're close, would create a connection between them. So, an emotion is like a travel over the world. For example, I can choose vigilance, like our underwear guy in Philippines, and only vigilance will show up. Okay? So, emotion is like a travel, a voyage into the world, because there's people feeling the emotion of vigilance in the last few hours in all these places, so they are actually connected. So what is this? It's a kind of different geography. There is a geography made through roads, there is a geography made through nation boundaries, and there is a geography made of emotions. So actually we could define the nation of surprise, and it will be not in a single country, but it will be distributed in parts of the world, in different parts of the world. So the nation of surprise, the country that's called surprise, which has the population of all the surprised people in the last few hours, is distributed across the world. Create, as we did in the book which we are presenting in these days, you can have a book with these codes on it, and so you can have a book with a video inside it. Have you ever saw a book with a video in it?
Cool.
Easy. Or, for example, what happens if instead printing these things on an object, what happens if you print them on stickers? You can attach things to places, content to places. For example, you can produce stickers and you can put them around, attach them to a lamppost, attach them to wherever, to a wall, to a car, to myself, okay? And you can, by doing that, you can attach in all these places, you can attach a video, a sound, a text, a web page, an entire interactive experience, okay? Because what happens if that sticker doesn't point, for example, to a single image, but it points to an interactive experience which is usable from the mobile phone? It happens that you can use the interactive experience from the mobile phone. Okay, so you can put all forms of content in lots of different places. So this is a map of the world. What we are doing is telling people to print out these codes and attach them in the place that they were, or to an object, because the emotion can also be attached to an object. No? Do you have an object that you feel some very powerful emotion to? Yeah, I guess lots of us will have objects that they are attached to, okay, that they have memories to, which has a specific story, which was an object which was with you in a very important moment of your life. You can attach the story to the object because you associate the story of this object, and even a video of the story of this object, and even sound, and even you telling the story of the object to a system like this. You print out the sticker, you stick it on the object, and that object immediately has a story. When you take the object, you pick it up, you frame it on the mobile phone, or anyone frames it up on the mobile phone, and that person can know the story of your object. Okay? You can make t-shirts, print a big QR code on a t-shirt. Your t-shirt can have a story. For example, you know that there are organizations that are called fair trade. So these organizations try to create commercial processes which are more fair to the producers of coffee of all over the world, of rice, of tea, all over the world. What happened? And this is a very interesting thing to do. But also, did you ever see the people who are in the place, for example, in Colombia, in Guatemala, producing coffee?
Yes.
Yes, for example, you did.
I have a friend who has a huge coffee farm in Costa Rica, so I've seen the whole organization down there. It's amazing.
It is amazing, it is amazing. But not a lot of people saw it.
No.
What happened, for example, if on the box of fair trade coffee there was a QR code, when you scan it you see a webcam capture of that place. It would include you being able to see, or maybe open up a chat. Open up a chat. You can go, hello there in Guatemala, how's that? How are fair trade guys treating you? Are they actually giving you the money? Did you have this doubt? Is that money ending up really there? Does anybody of you had it? Yes. I did. You can ask, for example, if the coffee included the QR code with a chat or with a webcam. You can scan it with your mobile phone, and boom, I'm in the village in Guatemala. Hello, does anybody want to chat with me? I want to know if the guys from fair trade coffee actually give you the money. And maybe things can happen. For example, it would be incredibly interesting, and this is a thing which we are trying to do with FakePress, producing a line of t-shirts which is totally and autonomously produced by fringe communities all over the world. And the t-shirt actually includes a code, so you actually can scan yourself and have a chat to the people who did your t-shirt. No, that opens up incredible scenarios. Okay, so let's step back a little. So what happens is that we can attach information to physical things, which is a very powerful mechanism. Internet goes out of the monitor, okay, you throw the monitor away, and steps out and goes into places, okay. This is very powerful on multiple levels, okay, because not only you can attach things to content to things, you can also bypass several mechanisms of authority, which I told you about before, and which I think you can imagine for yourself as well. For example, the thing about products. For example, I will show you just one thing, and then we're off to the platform. With FakePress, we did .it. We did this project, which was called Squatting Supermarkets. So we were in this, these are a couple of pictures which are in the Museum of Science in Turin. It was presented during another festival, which is called Share Festival in Turin, which is quite an interesting festival. And they helped us a lot because we told them, okay, we need to do this project, we want to do this project, we are doing this project, we need someone to help us to do it. And so they actually agreed to building a fake supermarket inside the Science Museum in Turin.